Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thank you, K-Sits, for the question. For starters, everything that I'm about to say is my opinion, but I will be using a few points in the books for reference, so spoilers if you're trying to read some Iron Hand books. And if the Iron Hands are your favorite legion, I totally respect that. Just understand they're very far from mine. In all honesty, if you asked me which I disliked more, Erebus or the Iron Hands, I would take a second to think about it. The Iron Hands to me have some of the most wasted potential by GW. Every single time that they are written into a setting, they are described as rational individuals, and then the rest of many of their novels have them acting out with emotion rather than with any rationale. The Battle of the Dropsite Massacre is usually the most common example that I hear for this. Ferrus Manus, one of the most logical and rational Primarchs around, ignores the advice of those individuals around him, proceeds very deep into enemy lines beyond any point of saving, didn't wait for a lot of reinforcements to arrive that were very crucial and necessary to the events, and let his blinding rage get the better of him, so now he's headless. But you know what? I'll even cut him some slack. His most beloved brother of all time betrayed him on a personal level and the Imperium, so he was blinded by rage. But it doesn't stop there. What about Shadrach Medusan? An incredible character that GW really fleshed out into becoming potentially the next leader of the Iron Hands. He thought rationally and logically, using hit and run tactics against the traitors, attacking crucial points for resources, and thinking through every single step with well thought out analytics. And you know how he was outdone? He was betrayed by his own men. Fellow Iron Hands disliked Shadrach Medusan. For one, he was Terran born and not from Medusa. For two, many of the Iron Hands believed that he didn't embody what it truly meant to be an Iron Hand. And so, in an extremely important battle where he thought out an incredible plan, when it came time for his allies' parts to assist him, they left him to die. Why? Because the Iron Hands suck and hate their own brothers because they're not from Medusa and rather from Terra. Not to mention, Shadrach Medusan's name isn't his real name, it's actually Shadrach Smith, and GW found it important for us to know this. With all due respect, a pretty lame last name for a Space Marine. And then what about the time that they made an iron golem out of one of Ferrus Manus' hands? After the passing of Ferrus Manus, some of the Iron Hands managed to recover this part of his body, made an iron golem after it, and said that their Primarch was still alive. The thing couldn't speak, it wasn't necessarily autonomous, at best it could lift its fingers. And yet the Iron Hands here worshipped it as their own Primarch and revered it as such. They were willing to let many of their fates be decided by an Iron Hand, a literal Iron Hand. Screw tactics, screw logisticians, screw any analysis, screw their own methodology and mentality. They wanted to believe that their father was still alive via a hand. But sure, I guess griefing. And then we have the damnation of Pythos, where here most of the book ends up portraying the Iron Hands as truly logical and rationally thinking, taking their time before jumping to any conclusions. But the downfall of the Iron Hands and everyone around them ends up resulting in the fact that they started working off of feelings and beliefs, or more accurately, hunches. So guess what? The Iron Hands got murked there too. I cannot stand how they are described or portrayed in most of their novels, especially when they are always self-described to be deeply analytic. And yet 9 times out of 10, at least as far as I can see, let their emotions get the better of them, and they just void their whole characteristics altogether. And I feel like a lot of it is GW's fault, almost as though they forget their characteristics, no matter how many times they like to remind us of it. To me, it's wasted potential because the Iron Hands look amazing. A lot of their stuff is super cool. Their lore is incredible. And yet, to me, it's squandered on guys that always lose and let their emotions get the better of them. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but at the same time, GW did create the Iron Hands led by a man with iron hands whose name is Iron Hands. If the Iron Hands have no haters, it means I'm no longer on this mortal plane. Again, all of this is just my opinion though. If you love them, by all means, this universe is incredible, and I love the fact that we have differentiating opinions. But this is one of the many reasons why I don't like them. K-Sits, I appreciate the question, and believe me when I say there's no hate involved. But despite all that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Drop a comment if there's anything you want to hear about next, and as always, remember to follow for more.